Okay. The next one is a letter by a gentleman who runs a small business. Now, he wrote to me a very genuine letter. He's in his 60s. So I thought, after reading it, I thought this is worthwhile sharing with you. So gentleman writes, "Dear Loy, I'm a follower of yours since the past 3 years. I like all your posts and videos and your selection of subjects. I'm very happy to see someone like you exposing the bad things around us, exploitation of employees, especially from third world countries. That's what they call us. Human rights violators, frauds, etc. I always see that you talk about companies and employees and governments. I agree with all are somewhat true and need to be addressed and protested against. However, I never saw you addressing the problems faced by small-scale business owners, mainly from employees from governments, departments, corporations, and users. For example, you say unpaid salaries. Did you ever thought the reason behind it? Nobody likes to build a bad reputation in the market, especially if you're in the business. In the end of the month, employees need to receive their salaries. That is their right. At the same time, a small company like one in the service industry, like he has one, employing 300 engineers and technicians, need to receive their payments from customers on time, need to pay their salaries and other expenses. Nowadays, most of the corporates and major players don't receive their invoices even after 180 days from their subcontractors. Reason being is they are not getting their payments from clients in big projects. There are no rules and regulations. See, my answer over here is very simple. You're a businessman, you're taking the risk, you're making the decisions, and maybe the risk can backfire. So why do you want to get into business if you know this is the risk? So this is part of the game that you play. If you get payment on time, you're lucky. If you don't get payment on time, it's your bad luck. So this is not the fault of employees. Okay, this is a businessman's decision. You have a responsibility to pay the employees on time. So if you choose not to give that, you can't blame it on these factors, because when you get lots of money, you don't give people the excess profit. You keep the excess profit for yourself. Why? Because you have taken a risk. So I'm not saying that you're the bad guy, but this is your responsibility. That's what I'm trying to say. When you go into business, these are the risks that you have to face. Now, in coming back to his letter, he says, in business, there are no rules and regulations to control these payments issues between companies. If the employee doesn't get paid, there'll be violation of the labor law and the company will be blacklisted. This is how it's run in the Middle East. To run a business, you need to employ the lowest paid laborer from India with a minimum salary as agreed by the Indian embassy, say 800 dirhams. But the recruitment cost will be almost 10,000 dirhams, which is absolutely true. 800 dirhams is the minimum salary you need to pay. 10,000 dirhams is the visa, labor fee, medical, insurance, everything else. Okay. So he says almost 10,000 dirhams, including labor, quota fee, labor department fees, entry fee, medical fee, visa stamping fee, Emirates ID, insurance, ticket cost. The moment the person lands here, the salary meter starts. Please note that until all the medical, visa stamping, Emirates ID and insurance is not complete, working is illegal. However, most of them do that. If caught, the company gets hefty fines. Most of the time, these processes take over a month. So an employee needs to pay salary plus accommodation allowance without any revenue. Once they start working and complete 1 month's work, then invoice will be sent to a customer who will pay the invoice after 6 months. This is very true. When you bring a new employee into the company, he doesn't know the processes, he doesn't know the work, he has to start from zero. So obviously, it's not going to be beneficial to you. Okay. In the second year, the visa renewal process starts again. If any delay, the company will be fined or blocked. Now, the government has made it possible through methods and systems to protect the rights of employees. It's a world-class system, but suitable for a more civilized employee. This I totally agree with you, because most of these uncivilized people who have access to the internet, they misuse it. Especially, you don't need to go very further. Just look at India. All of them have access to social media. They're abusing the system. Today, people use the internet and they believe it's their right to get everything for free, which is totally agree with you. This is the Asian mentality. Okay. And the Western mentality, if you want to hear a gripe about them, is they feel they are the most intelligent, knowledgeable. Any idiot feels he's smart who can use the internet. Okay. Any employee can complain to the labor department against the employer by one click of the phone app. This is misused by most of the Indian employees widely. This is what he says. If one doesn't like the company, he thinks he can get even 50 dirhams more than the other company. He'll just go and make a complaint. Even about a shoe rack in the accommodation or AC in the pickup van against the employer. Most of the cases, the employee will be penalized or blocked. If the complaint is not resolved, he can resign at any time. Once resigned, the employee employer has to pay all the dues, end of service benefits and ticket, and also the visa stamping cost, uniform cost, total insurance cost, all of this which will be lost. So the employee comes here at the expense of the employer, 10,000 dirhams, then waits for the residence permit, stamping for 1 month. And then after that, if he doesn't like the company, he makes a complaint and leaves the company. After 2 months, he will go back with full payment of his dues, including the service benefits, if any, with a free ticket, and next day he will come again, which is not next day, you can't come just next day, and work for another company for just 400 dirhams more. This I feel is slightly exaggerated. Not everyone does this, especially with the fact that many people borrow money to pay agents in India, or many of them are charged visa money, because many of the employers, majority, they are very smart. And even my own parents, when they bought people, they made sure that they paid for the visa expenses. Why? Because if they paid their own money, then they would value the job much more. They wouldn't just resign and go. So, this is slightly exaggerated. Okay. Please note that the customer will pay for the services he did only after 6 months. Sometimes he doesn't pay at all, giving silly excuses, which is true. I totally agree with you. This is one of the major reasons why most of the employers are forced to treat their employees like enemies, which I agree with you. I always tell them management and employees can never be friends. So please try to include some stories of small-scale employers and their problems in your videos, which will help employees understand the value of employer relationship. If you're interested, I can feed you with a lot more stories and realities of SME owners. If you think this one is useful for anyone, please let me know you're interested. Only then I'll reveal my identity. Thanks, keep up the good work. Cheers. So I wrote back to him and I told him I totally agree with you on certain points, and feel free, because whatever you share with me is kept confidential. It was only then he shared with me this story. Okay, this is the second email that he sent. This is what he says. Dear Mr. Loy, thanks for an immediate reply. Okay, here's my first story. Years before, there was a project in Saudi Arabia which is partly not completed. It's called the HHR project, the Haramian High Speed Railway. Sounds like Harami in Hindi, Urdu means bastard. So Harami High Speed Railway. Sorry about that. Okay. HHR project, scheduled for structural work, was awarded to a leading steel contractor, Al Rayami Contracting. I think they're going through bankruptcy right now. Al Rayami Contracting, let me know, in Dubai. There were the subcontractors for them with more than 2 million invoice, but they were not paid, as a lot of politics and bribery going on. We did not get paid because we were subcontracting for them for more than 2 years and not paid a single dirham. All were managed by non-competent Indian engineers and managers, especially Keralites. And this is what he writes. Looks like he doesn't like Keralites. Okay. By the way, my father is Keralite, so I'm not anti-Keralite. Okay. Father who I never met. Okay. Who will find ways to get bribes from subcontractor suppliers to get the project. In this civil industry or the construction industry, bribes are very, very common, especially with consultants. Okay. And finally, those responsible and failure for the project found a way to escape all the responsibilities by misusing the law, as explained in my last mail, which you sent me before. Like us, subcontractors don't get paid, and then we are not able to pay salaries. The employees go back to the labor department and complain against the company, and then our company gets blocked and fined. As usual, the company has to pay royal repatriation processes to all the employees of the company, spend hundreds of thousands of dirhams, and send them comfortably back and let them comfortably travel to the UAE and go back to their country, and with a full settlement, including service benefits and tickets. Just give me your opinion, who's right or wrong. My opinion, if you're running a business, these are the risks that you have to take, and you can't help it, because in the Middle East, it's easy to open a business, easy to make money, but easy to get cheated as well. And it's very common that payments are not made. This is a reality. So it's nothing but who's right or wrong. It's all about you taking a risk and you having to pay the price for it. Then he says, add to this 2 years of struggle, the founder of Rami Group, who personally arranged a meeting with us, he's a very good personality, down to earth. He requested us that if we can recover the dues by taking or selling off some of the assets in their own shop, they would do that. We said that we are not in the business, and he promised to pay us within 1 month as a gesture of goodwill. We gave them a good discount for the settlement. And then he says, here is a big difference between the mentality of Indians and Emiratis. the old generation Emiratis, that is, old generation Emiratis. I know you agree on this. I always see you negative views about locals, not the old Emiratis. I'm talking of the new generation. There are very good people who are very kind and respect the feelings of others, but those type of people also get fooled very easily. And the selfish, so-called 100% literate Kerala garbage. So, Kerala Christian garbage. Sorry, I'm an atheist for the last 52 years. Now I'm 65. Well, I'm an atheist myself. I'm half Keralite. So, well, anyway, this is your opinion. Okay. Out of the 45 years in UAE, that's why I call myself limited edition. You may identify me as that. This is for now. Thanks for your patience. More will continue. Limited edition single Indian. So, this is what a gentleman who's running a small business in UAE wrote to me. Okay. Next one is 400,000 was not paid to an individual who was running a business. He sent me this message that he completed a project of 400,000 for Emaar in the last 3 months. But in his case, he has sent me a couple of photographs of the project that he did. It seems that Emaar is opening at the new Kidzania in Abu Dhabi. Sorry, Abu Dhabi Yas Mall. Lead contractor is Inc. Group. British contractor is Paragon Creative. I signed with Paragon Creative to fabricate and build the new site. My contract was 400,000. They paid me 60% now, 40% on finishing the job. I finished the job 2 months ago, 2 weeks ago. So he finished 2 months ago. And then 2 weeks ago, he was informed by the British company they cannot pay because they are moving into bankruptcy. And this is what he wrote. I almost had a heart attack. They owe me 180,000. I have a small company. I live day by day. The British company claims that Emaar only paid them 50% and that is why they're broke. The UAE lead contractor is denying and saying the British company got the full amount. So now there is a clash between the British company and Emaar. Emaar says we paid full. British company says, no, you did not. You paid us only 50%. And now because of their tussle, this guy is suffering. My inside sources working for Inc. Group confirmed that the British company was paid only half. More than 12 suppliers have not been paid. Please tell my story. Don't mention my name. These are the images. So he sent me a couple of photographs. One is the WhatsApp conversation that he had with this guy from this company Paragon. And then he has sent me a couple of these images of the work that he has done. This is Kidzania in Abu Dhabi Mall. So I don't know how far it's true or how far it's false.